Welcome back to Theater Talk on WTBU Radio. Right now we're so pleased to be joined by Bush Moukarzel, who's the creator and director of Hamnet, which is currently playing now through October 7th over at the Emerson Paramount Center on the Robert J. Orchard stage, which is over with ArtsEmerson. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So could you tell us a little bit about what Hamnet is?
Well, Hamnet is our show, the name of our show,
Yes.
but originally in the real world, it was the name of William Shakespeare's only son. He was 11 years old when he died, and that's all that's really known about him, that he was born and died 11 years later. That's in 1596 he died, and a couple of years later, Shakespeare wrote the more famous sounding Hamlet. So that's a curious connection. Of course, with a lot of Shakespeare, you just have to guess and conjecture because we don't know too much about his biography, but it's very likely, obviously, that his recently deceased son was playing large in his mind when he wrote that play.
Cool. So when you were creating this, were you just really fascinated with Hamnet or Shakespeare in general? Like, how did this play come about?
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big Shakespeare geek myself, but I'm just more interested in, I don't know, like the name. When I heard the name Hamnet, and I assumed it was a typo, and I assumed that they were intending to mean the more famous fictional character, and then looking into it and realizing that this young boy had existed, I was intrigued by that, curiosity, and that was the sort of entry point. And I figured that audiences too would read the name of the show and assume we'd made a mistake and feel sorry for us and go, maybe we'll go and see the show just so I feel sorry for that theatre company. They can't even afford proper spell checking. But it's a sort of curious entry into an idea.
And this is produced with Dead Center, which is from over in Ireland, and that's
right.
Your company?
Yeah, that's myself and a colleague of mine called Ben Kidd, and we co-direct and co-write the pieces together.
And could you just tell us a little bit about the background of Dead Center and how that came to be?
Well, I was living in Dublin for some years. I still live there. I'm from London originally. I had known Ben back from my college days. You can imagine that. You guys think back to your college days, the good days. I was in a place called Nottingham University where I met Ben. So we had been friends and theatre geeks and all that kind of stuff for years. Cut to me living in Ireland and ready to start making work myself, and I was like, oh, that guy Ben, I remember him. I think he'll come. He'll be able to help me on a show. So he came on over. We made a piece of work. It went well, so we stuck to doing that for the last few years.
That's awesome. I read in the Boston Globe that so there are two young boys playing the part of Hamnet. One is Ollie West, who I believe you created the production for.
Yeah.
And then we have Aaron Murphy coming into the production a little bit later. Could you tell us how you came to meet Ollie and how you decided to make this play for him?
Well, Ollie, let's see now. We have another production called Chekhov's First Play.
Yes.
And that is a play where the audience hear the show live and they wear headphones and they hear director's commentary at the same time.
That's so cool.
Halfway through, a wrecking ball swings into this old-fashioned Russian house, smashes it in pieces, goes on fire, and then one person in the audience has a different set of headphones, and we start telling them secrets like, you're now the main character, please stand up, please walk out onto the stage. Oh, I've given too much of that away, actually. Anyway, that's not playing here, so that's fine. Yeah. Anyway, that show, while we were developing that show, and it was quite a big one, actually Ollie, this little dude, Ollie, was 9 at the time, and I knew him. His parents are in the theatre world. His mother's a director, his father's a playwright. And I was like, oh, that little dude would be kind of cool if he's in the story. I knew he was a little show-off and basically wanted to be in, plays and stuff. So we were working, and Ollie was very neat and kind of wonderful, but it didn't feel right for that piece. Because if you have a kid just in a show, you then read the whole story through their eyes. Right. You sort of frame the world through a child's perspective. And that wasn't feeling increasingly that was what that show should have been around. So I wrote Ollie a letter. I fired him. I wrote him a letter saying, I promise you this isn't because you suck. I promise you it's because of some boring adult intellectual philosophical idea that is really boring and you just fall asleep halfway if I was telling you why. But just there's a reason, trust me. But you're deadly, as we say in Ireland. That's an expression, you're deadly. Okay, you're wicked smart, and man, we're going to do something. And I imagine he rolled out the piece of paper, chucked it out there, and then got back to playing his computer games. Right. But I, in my head, had this idea for this show Hamnet, and in it there was a child as the whole event. He would hold the stage, be 11 years old, be there for an hour, and nobody else would interrupt that experience. But I'd always thought, well, you can't, who can do that? A kid, that's too much for a young kid. You know,
Right.
they'd freak out or they'd be overwhelmed. But this little dude, Ollie West, was like, he gave me the courage and the permission to go, right, I reckon he could handle it, that guy. So that's what it means by I wrote it for him, you know, that gave me the courage to follow that old idea. So, you know, blew the dust off that idea and went, right, we can develop that now.
Right. That's awesome. Jinx. And then, so Ollie has been playing it since it premiered back in 2014, correct?
Correct.
And I know I spent 3 months over in London this past summer, and I was over at the South Bank Centre, I believe on the same day that this Hamnet was playing over
What the
there.
hell? Why didn't you come in?
Because I knew it was
Kobi.
coming to Emerson here in Boston, so I got to see it. So I wanted to see something else.
See it twice.
I know. But I was like, this looks really cool, and then I
thought
heard
I saw
Emerson's
you.
doing
That
it.
was you. Yeah.
It was me. That was me.
This
That was
guy
me.
hanging outside the theater.
But anyways, we're very excited. How are you liking? Have you been to America before? I'm assuming.
A few times.
Yeah.
We've taken our work to New York on
Cool.
2 occasions.
Okay.
I've been Americaphile for years, you know. So yeah, Boston I've only been a couple of times. I was in New England a bit. There was a school called St. Paul's, I think, in New Hampshire. I spent some time as a kid. And friends in North Andover, and you know, I know the East Coast a bit. Emerson country.
Yes, for sure. What do you hope American audiences are going to get out of this play? Because it's been playing for a bit over in Europe, but this is the first time it's going to be premiering in the U.S.
Yeah, well, because it's in English, and because Americans speak English, it means they'll get the jokes quicker, hopefully, because there's always a European delay when they have to read the surtitles. And they go, ha ha ha. So hopefully the laughs will be in time. So that's one thing I'm hoping. Other than that, well, you know, you take work around the world and you offer it to the audiences, and they tell you what they think. And you know, so it's really up to you. Don't determine that, you know.
For sure. And that's why I love ArtsEmerson, because they do a really good job at trying to bring theater from all around the world to Boston. So
yeah, God bless David Dower, the guy who saw it in Holland. He was the one guy laughing in time, you know. So there would be the solo American laugh and then a whole Dutch laughter half a beat later. And yeah, he's just been a champion for the show from that point. So
that's awesome.
It's cool.
That's awesome. So when you started doing research on this, like, how did you? You said there wasn't much info on Hamnet as a person, and I know he died at age 11. How did you do research? Did you read a lot of plays from Shakespeare? What did you do in creating this?
A lot of introspection. I closed my eyes. I looked within, Kobi. I looked deep within, and actually there was some. I took a wrong turn in the research, but that's sometimes you get to the place you want to get to by going the wrong way. And in this case, what I did is I read all the plays of Shakespeare, and I found every moment that a parent talked to a child, and any moment that they were giving advice to a child on how to live. I extracted all those moments and created a document. It turns out there was a big doorstop. You could kill somebody with it. It was a big weight of a thing.
I bet.
And I looked at all that language to see if maybe we were going to use that in the play. Maybe it would sort of swirl around as this sort of weird Shakespearean self-help book, you know, how to live. But actually, the parents in Shakespeare don't know what they're talking about often. They're misguided, they're wrong, they're kind of emotionally kind of overwhelmed in places. So really you realize throughout Shakespeare, it's a portrait of parents who don't really know how to live. So that was an inspiring kind of idea that we'd start to investigate. But the literal use of the text from Shakespeare was a bit clunky to bring into this play in fragments, so we didn't use that per se.
For sure.
Not dissing Shakespeare then.
Of course not.
Dissing out of context Shakespeare. But in context, it works.
Do you have a favorite Shakespeare play?
I like Richard II. It's a sort of proto-Hamlet piece. I think it's very strange, the portrait in that, and it's the beginning of the interior monologue idea really starts to really ramp up in Richard II, that Shakespeare puts thinking on stage, you know, that you really see people thinking. And that kind of, it's really interesting thinking, because thinking is what kind of connects us. We all feel that we all have minds, but it's also why we feel lonely, because it's our minds that make us feel unconnected to people, because nobody knows what's in our minds, even right now, you know. So it's this weird paradox, having a soul. Isn't it just?
Yes.
Wow, you're so smart. I was very excited when I went over to London because I was expecting to see like all this great Shakespeare, and I went to go see Macbeth at the National, and it was just very, very bad. But that was just my Shakespeare.
This is going to
Anecdote.
live to London right now from Boston University.
Anyways, Rufus Norris.
Nobody I know was in that, so it's okay. You're not dissing any of my bath. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what I can't. I'm not responsible for the whole of English theatre.
I know. It's fine. It's fine.
But on behalf of English theatre, I apologise.
I hope we hope you bring your Chekhov play over to America because we.
Yeah, that sounds so interesting.
That'll be cool. Yeah, it is. We might be going to BAM. In New York, we might be going there with that, but we'll see. You know what happens. It depends
if you
how this
do,
goes.
Theater Talk will go
We'll
and
be
take
there.
a trip. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I will be there for sure.
Cool.
Do you want to play a little game before we leave?
I dreaded this. Okay, yeah.
It'll be
Okay.
fine.
It'll be very
fine.
easy. So we have a few, only 5.
Actually, I don't mind losing. I don't mind losing. I kind of like it,
Okay.
you know.
We have 5 quotes from famous Shakespeare's plays, and I chose like the easiest one, so I think you should be good.
Oh man,
and then
that's even worse. That's even.
we'll give you 2 options, and then just.
Yeah.
I get
A
a
couple of
option.
Yeah, you
choices.
get. Well, okay, well,
Often.
okay, well, why don't we see if you know it first, and if you don't, then we'll give you 2
Yes,
options,
then we'll
and
give
we'll
you
go.
2.
Okay, ready? Macy, take it away.
So the first one is, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
Do you need some help?
It is from Twelfth Night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Which is
Ooh.
no sound
Malvolio.
effects.
It's Malvolio.
Let me
Ding, ding,
take
ding.
this off the table so you don't.
No, I didn't
Okay.
look. I swear to God.
I believe you.
In fact, I even looked to the ceiling in despair, and then it came.
Wow.
Well done.
Okay.
Okay, the second
Malvolio,
one.
yeah.
Is this a dagger which I see before me?
That's Macbeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a pro. Okay. The third one.
Sorry to bring back memories of the
No, it's-
London production.
It's okay. We walked out.
Okay. You both. This is terrible, guys. We're really.
It's fine.
anyway.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
The
So the
National
third
is
one.
doing just fine.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
fine.
So.
I am one who loved wisely, but too well. Tell us if you need the option.
I got nothing on that. I mean, you went too well. Who is it? I've got nothing on that.
It's either from Romeo and Juliet or Othello.
It must be Othello because it's a
Yes.
It's a jealousy kind of chat,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
I was saying because that's the kicker. It's like and too well. He's
Mm-hmm.
saying, well, I trusted too much, and really she's a bad person. I
Right.
must kill her, etc., etc. Othello.
Okay, on to the next. There is nothing either good or bad, but,
But
thinking makes it.
so. That's Hamlet. Right?
Whoa. Well,
Oh my God.
I'm assuming he's
I'm
going to
blown
know
away.
Hamlet.
Okay. Yes,
Alright.
that is correct. All the world's a stage, and all the men
That
and
is
women.
such a good one. That's Jacquis, and that is from what's it called? As you like it. Yes, it is as you
Yes.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Correct.
a beautiful.
Great production
Ding,
this
ding.
summer at
Oh
the
man,
Regent's
that's
Outdoor Park.
that may be when you say what's my favorite. Maybe we go Richard II, as you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Might
Okay.
be second.
Tied, or-
tied, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
Okay. Okay, last one. What light through yonder window breaks?
That sounds Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my gosh, that was
Cool.
awesome.
You survived. You survived.
Okay.
Went really well.
correct.
One question we ask all our guests on Theater Talk before we go. You've clearly loved the theater and you've been involved in a lot of different productions. Have there ever been any like giant mistakes that have gone wrong on stage or any like mishaps? Anything crazy happen?
Let's see now. Probably, well, this giant demolition ball that swings in
Yeah.
to Chekhov, well, we had, and it's just when a audience member comes up on stage, and they're a genuine random person. They didn't know they were going to be the main character in the play. So they're sitting up there, and we were in Bristol Old Vic, and the ball releases and gets caught, and it's sort of hanging, and it's about to, like, swing down and kill him. And so I thought, well, I think we should stop this probably. So I had to step on and
gosh.
close the production. But no, generally we have a great technical team,
Yeah.
and you know, you work in a theatre like we're now in the Paramount, and you're sort of set up. So
Yeah.
we touch wood so far, so
Yep.
good.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I'm sure everything will be great. Well, thank you, Bush, for coming in to speak
Thank
with
you
us.
so
It's been a
much.
pleasure. Everyone, please go see Hamnet over at the Emerson Paramount Center, produced by ArtsEmerson. You can get tickets at artsemerson.org.
There's a trick in it as well. That's what we should say, you know,
Oh.
because like there's a reason to go. There's like a trick.
There's a trick.
That's all I can say. There's a thing, you know?
Everyone go see Hamnet. Also, there are student discounts available for all of us college-age kids, so that's great when theater is affordable. Thank you, Bush, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
guys.
so much.
Cheers.